what a Gamaba Award is and how it is such a privilege to receive one? Gamaba stands for Gawad sa Manlilikha ng Bayan, and this title is also known as the National Living Treasure.
The Gamaba is an award given to individuals or a group of artists who contributed to the cultural heritage of our country and has conserved their tradition for many years up until now.
Why do you think the government will reward people with the Gamaba? Is it even that important? Well, the very purpose of this award is to give honor and pride to the traditional folk artists who have preserved their works, skills, and crafts.
They are recognizing the artists who have not only conserved their tradition, but also shared the skills and knowledge to the younger generation of their people, for them to know and remember the origin of their roots and ancestors. To give recognition to the artists who didn't think twice into contributing an art so significant to the country and its people.
What could globalization possibly be? Globalization refers to the increasing interconnectedness of the world's economy, populations, and cultures on one another.
This is made possible by cross-border investments in goods and services, and the flow of information, people, and investment. Modernization, on the other hand, is the current word for an ancient process.
It is the process of social transition in which less developed countries acquire modern traits of developed society.
But what are the pros and cons of globalization and modernization on traditional culture?
People are able to converse and learn more from one another thanks to modernization and globalization.
It promotes cross-cultural understanding in the contemporary world and fosters international understanding through communication and knowledge.
Modernization and globalization refer to the speeding up of national integration into the world economy, the creation of modern transportation, and economic connections as a result of technology.
It supports both human migration and the strengthening of cultural linkages between the people.
However, it keeps the catastrophic loss of cultural identity going. The younger generation picks up on one another's likes, habits, and fashion, which makes them frequently appear faceless.
So, as citizens, it is our duty and responsibility to aid in promoting and preserving indigenous art against the threats of globalization and modernization in our own ways.
Being a student and a citizen that notices the peak of hard clay upholding the body of indigenous art, such as folklores, the conclusion of conservation of the tradition is to embed and emphasize the importance of their culture and our roots. And as a student, promoting our distinction is one of our duties we should not be in disservice to, but rather to convey the directness with our creed and our roots.
Learners have limitations in promoting, preserving, and giving a space of appreciation and notice to culture since legalities and responsibilities of laws are not yet applied.
But youth can empower and impose the reliefs of traditional art forms despite being one of the major consumers of enterprises of mobilization.
These are the possible ways of ensuring the lifeline of indigenous art forms. Number 1 is to establish public awareness of indigenous art.
In establishing public awareness, an individual can promote through social media outlets to lay the front piece of indigenous art and what it truly signifies.
A student can also sell indigenous products either through online or traditional marketing, or purchase local products to further reinforce the spirit of folk life.
They may enforce social networks that work to promote or dissent any laws or issues degrading the indigenization of folk life.
Number 2. Students may participate in workshops.
Workshops provide wonderful opportunities for engagement, learning, and development. The interactive platform allows attendees to share their knowledge with others while also learning new things.
Third, students can participate in exhibitions and fairs.
Exhibitions and fairs are the most effective means of preserving art genres such as painting, sculptures, and many more. People can view a variety of traditional art pieces that have been meticulously made in their communities that showcase various indigenous artworks from across the country.
Fourth, attending live performances is an excellent method to bring these arts to life and support them.
Indigenous arts are not limited to painting and sculpture. It also includes several types of art. And in order to preserve these art forms, attending live performances is an excellent method to support them in bringing these arts to life.
A live performance has the same impact as a seminar or an awareness session. A significant number of individuals have the opportunity to observe and learn about ancient art forms. It is fairly usual to see someone who has no knowledge of a certain art form become a fan of the same thing after witnessing a live performance made by an amazing artist.
Finally, students can show interest in indigenous arts by encouraging or inspiring fellow students and peers to demonstrate enthusiastic courage in preserving our culture. They must practice knowledge sharing on a regular basis. To keep them alive, practice and training sessions are essential.
Those with extensive knowledge in this sector should never be afraid to share with newcomers, as this is the most effective long-term preservation technique.
The advantages of maintaining our indigenous art is that it will highlight how the rich artistic and cultural expression of indigenous people ought to be preserved for present and future generations.
Indigenous art should also be preserved because it is vulnerable to misuse by outsiders. Our cultural legacy must be protected because it upholds our identity as people.
The abundance of knowledge and abilities that are passed down through intangible cultural legacy, rather than the cultural manifestation itself, is what makes it so significant.
Another benefit of preserving indigenous art is understanding the process of production, which can provide us insight into the past because some crafts preserve historical practices.
Understanding the nation's past and interpreting archaeological discoveries may depend on this.
People can view numerous conventional fine art pieces that have been expertly produced. These programs encourage kids to study traditional art forms.
So, remember,
Our art embodies who we are.
And together, we will conserve indigenous arts.